This is An Unconventional Life, a jump cut podcast talking to people that live outside the norm, the weirdos and freaks, the risk takers and visionaries. We explore the lives you know you want and the jobs you never knew existed. We ask our guests how they achieve their unconventional life and how they thrive without a scheduled 9 to 5. I'm Samuel Donner, and today on the show we talk to Sam Golbach. Sam is one half of Sam and Colby, a social media duo with over 10 million followers and hundreds of millions of views. We'll learn how Sam went from being a shy kid that couldn't even talk to his crush to becoming famous on Vine and YouTube.
That night we posted, and our biggest Vine ever to this point had like 30 likes. At that same night it had 100, and then the next morning it had 200. The next morning after that, it had 10,000. And by 1 week's time, that one video had 20 million views.
20 million views!
20 million views, and 19.9 million of those views were haters.
And we'll learn how taking his videos in a new direction got Sam arrested by a SWAT team at gunpoint because they thought he was planning a terrorist attack against a Jewish preschool.
These three guys with guns start like running at us and like holding us up and says like, don't move, hands up. We're like, we have no idea what we did. They throw us against the fence, throw us down on the ground, and they're like, do you know where you are? And we're like, yeah, we're at an abandoned hospital. He's like, no, do you know where you are? And it turns out the complex that we were running across was a Jewish preschool. And if you think about it from their perspective, two kids all dressed in black with backpacks, cameras, face masks just ran across a preschool with no explanation. So they thought we were bombing them.
Before we get into it, make sure to follow or subscribe so you can keep updated on the people we're interviewing. Growing up, Sam had an intensely normal life.
I literally grew up in like a cookie cutter family.
He grew up in a small town.
I grew up in Overland Park, Kansas, farmland and like suburbia mixed.
Went to a normal school.
Went to school every single day, did the sports that I was supposed to do.
Had normal friends.
Like had the same old friend group my entire life. It was basically so normal.
And Sam was fine with being normal. He had been accustomed to his normal lifestyle.
7th, 8th grade, I was completely okay with being normal, and I was comfortable. Also, I was extremely scared to ever stick out. For example, in 5th grade, my teacher was like, oh, if you type in your lunch code, you can buy lunch. And I was so scared to ask the teacher for my lunch code because I couldn't remember it, that I broke down and cried, all because I didn't want to raise my hand and ask her what it was. Like, that's how shy I was. I couldn't stand out even to ask one question.
And he made a sad realization.
I ended up not really doing that many exciting things in my life, to the point where I was so like normal, and I was like the shy kid, the person that just didn't really want to stick out. Only about a third of people in my school knew my name. Most people like stuck out and like you knew everybody, but I don't know. It's just like sad to me that when everyone would call out my name, like, hey, Sam, I would always look and they were talking to the Sam behind me.
Sam knew that he had to do something about this.
I just think there has to be something more to this life. I started to realize, hey, if no one knows my name, I can't speak to the people I want to speak to. I can't even say hi to my own like crush in middle school, like the cute little stuff. Then I'm probably not going to get very far in life. And if I'm going to do this until the day I die, then I'm probably not going to experience much. And that's what hurt.
Sam continued to be shy and continued down the path of normalcy until he met Colby.
And we met in band camp. If you can tell anything about the story so far, I was the epitome of a nerd. Even in band, there are, the popular kids and not popular kids, which, surprising enough, yeah, I can't believe so. But everyone was off doing their own thing. It was like at a break, like everyone was hanging out and talking. Both of us were sitting on the sidewalk alone next to each other drinking water, both staring at the head of the band, and she was a senior girl. We both were like crushing on her, I guess, if that's what you want to say. I noticed him looking at this girl, and he noticed me, and we're like, so, have you ever talked to her type thing? He's like, oh, no, I would never talk to her my entire life. I was like, same here. Like, that would suck. And we bonded over not being able to talk to girls. And over the next, like, month and a half time, 2 months time, we realized maybe we should do something about this. Like, if we both have this problem and we both realize it, let's go out and change something. Colby said, me and my friends back in middle school used to go to the mall and just try to do like stupid competitions, like high five contests and stuff like that. That would probably get our confidence up, sure.
Setting out to be more confident, Sam and Colby went to the mall with a newfound purpose. But their first attempts at socialization were pretty awkward. What did that even look like? Were you like going out and like, hey, can you give me a high five? And then just like no one would give you high fives?
Literally that awkward, yes. Like we would be walking through our Kansas mall trying to get high fives from girls, and they just look at us like, what are you doing, kid? Then about the third time we did this, one of my other friends showed me this YouTube channel called Simple Pickup. So this Simple Pickup YouTube channel was all about how to gain confidence, how to talk to girls, how to get out of your comfort zone. And so literally, this sounds super nerdy, but we studied YouTube videos and then practiced them at the mall. We did everything that this YouTube channel would ask us to. So for example, one of the biggest things you preach is just like, you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. A game that they would play is this thing called Go. And your friend, so Colby, would tell me something to do. Like he'd say, okay, go up to that girl and just fall down or something like that right in front of her. Go. And if I didn't do it, I'd have to do 50 push-ups. And so I had to do it. And so we'd go back and forth. And so like, okay, go in front of that girl and say like, your dick is 2 inches long. And then like straight faced, you cannot laugh. Go. And he have to do that. And we did just do stupid things like pickup lines to different girls or to guys, just anything to make ourselves super awkward. We just were able to do that so often that nothing really seemed awkward at that point.
Were you recording yourself like guys at Simple Pickup or?
No, that's the thing. We literally did this for the sole purpose of trying to be confident. Like we were so into this, and we went to the mall every single weekend that we had free. All of our friends were like, what are you doing? I was like,
what are you doing over there, guys? Like, disappear for hours.
Exactly. We'd sit there 8 hours a day practicing talking to people, and no one understood. They're like, why did you do that? And I'm like, well, here, come see it. And we'd show other people, and they'd make fun of us. They were like, this is the stupidest thing in the world. Why don't you just talk to people? That's stupid, honestly. Why are you doing it? And so we realized that we were on our own. It just all came down to the fact that we're like, we don't want to be normal. Like we're fed up with being shy. We can't talk to this drum major at our band camp. Like, why not like do something about it?
Sam and Colby would go to the mall almost every day and work on building their confidence. And through all this effort, they actually became more sure of themselves and what they could accomplish. Was there a point where you realized, wow, like I've changed?
It was definitely a gradual change. So like, let's say the first month, like our biggest thing would be like to get like 2 numbers in a weekend. By the end of, the first year, we organized a group of 50 people to do a flash mob dance in that same mall, and we were like the leaders of it. And then all the girls that were in that mob, we got their numbers and started hanging out with them. So like,
you organized a flash mob
in the mall a year later.
And you weren't recording any of this. This is just, again, like Sam and Colby's self-improvement course.
Just, again, all for the fun of it. All for, like, the learning aspect. This is, 8 years ago. We did not know about social media. We didn't really know about YouTube. We didn't even know these guys that we were paying attention to on YouTube, the Simple Pickup guys. We didn't even know they were making money. We were like, okay, they obviously just want to teach other people. Now that we know how social media works, that's not the way. That's not the course. It all came down to like me and this guy were like, we suck at life. Let's turn it around and actually make something of it. Because it's not like we're going to be 60 years old one day and we're going to look back on these days and be like, we wasted them if we just keep acting the same way. What sets Colby and I apart from a lot of people is we never really did it purely for monetary gain or like trying to get girls. We did it because we actually wanted to learn. We actually wanted to like understand how 2 shy kids from Kansas could change their life and do something bigger. We realized over the course of 2 years, through all these different confidence building things, we did go from 2 band kids that would cry at the thought of trying to talk to their crush to these people that could literally talk to anybody at the drop of a hat. We did not care. One day we sat back and we're like, wow, I mean, if I could do that, I feel like other people should have that same opportunity. I looked at my brother, I looked at some of my other friends that were like in band camp with me, and I was like, that would be really cool to show them exactly how we did this and like basically teach them the same thing and give them that opportunity to experience more with life.
Wanting to teach others these valuable lessons that they learned on their journey to confidence, Sam and Colby started with the people that were around them, their friends.
We tried to start taking all of our friends over there. We started teaching them all that stuff, and it didn't really work out the way that we thought it would.
Why?
Because they didn't take us very seriously, and they didn't have a respect. There was like some inferiority complex where they didn't want to feel like we were teaching them. We realized that we need to teach people that are in the same situation, but aren't necessarily directly connected with us. So Colby just started watching other YouTubers. He realized like these kids were going on tour literally just for talking and like filming stupid videos, doing the exact same things that we would do in the mall. And we're like, oh, we had never thought of filming this. And these people have millions of followers and they're not saying anything. These fans are literally only paying attention to them because they're attractive boys just doing stupid things in like public settings. We could do that exact same thing and actually make a difference. Like imagine if we had that audience and this mindset and could teach all the people that were in the same boat as us way back when. Imagine if we could find a way to get all to those band kids, those shy kids in like early high school days and teach them that there's a much bigger world if you just try really hard. And so Colby suggested, hey, you want to try to get famous? And I really didn't want to.
Seems easy enough.
Because in Kansas, especially 8 years ago, no one really did social media. And if you were to do social media and like take pictures of yourself, it was like, you just want yourself to be popular. You just want like everyone to look at you. It was a whole different world in Los Angeles, but we did it anyway. Colby was like, I swear, dude, if we get famous, we won't have to live like this normal life. We won't have to do 9 to 5. Like imagine if we could get as big as these kids that are touring and saying nothing. We could influence everybody. And we're like, yeah, let's do it. And so we just took that same mentality of we're shy and we are nothing comparatively to these confident people. We have no like possible like streamline to become famous. Like there's no connections, but we're like, we have to. We're just not going to take no for an answer.
Pushing forward into the unknown, Sam and Colby looked around at social media platforms for something that could give them an edge.
So we're just like, what are these kids like blowing up on right now and what seems the easiest? And it was Vine. Because it was only 6-second videos, and a lot of those were like the type of public disturbance things and pranks that we would do at the mall already. And so we're like, okay, let's start with that. And so we'd go to the mall and basically do the exact same stupid stuff that we had been doing for the last 2 years and just putting them on film. So like jumping off of tables and like running up to people and like saying stupid things. And that didn't really work. And the only people that would follow us is our main friend group. And so we'd get like 10 likes per post. And we're like, this is not working. We got to a point where we were running around the city putting up poster boards of like our names and our faces, and like everyone has to follow us.
Poster board.
Yeah, it was bad. Because like imagine you being in high school, a junior year, and you are stapling your face on other people's lockers. Oh people are making fun of you daily. So imagine, let's say school starts at 7 a.m. We go at 5 a.m. with 100 posters. With 100 posters and duct tape and slam them all over our school. And then the next day we go 100 posters on the school in the next town, and then the next town.
Well, you were going town to town, like charlatans. Like,
yes.
Like the circus posting things up on lockers.
So stupid. But if you can tell from anything, we did not care and we wanted it more than anybody else. So like over the course of, let's say 2 or 3 weeks of poster boarding, we got up to like 400 followers.
Wait, so it's like working?
It worked slowly, like very, very slowly. We thought about it for a long time and we said, you know what? I have an idea. Once we hit 1,000 followers, let's post a very, very controversial video.
Sam and Colby were putting in the work and they were seeing success, but this growth was slow. And a controversial video was just what they needed to put them on the map. But before they could do that, they just needed enough followers to make the controversy worthwhile and catapult them into fame. So they had to wait.
And so it took another month to get all the way up to 1,000 followers, just doing the same thing. We're like grinding. We're like, God dang. But then we had this idea. There's this Family Guy episode that Stewie has a tuba and he follows Peter and does this like infamous ba-dum, da-dum, 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 song behind him. So we're like, what if we post that and get some really big dude's massive reaction? Everyone who hates it is going to share it and comment on it and say we're horrible people. Obviously, we know we're not horrible people, and we were going to fake the video either way, but we knew you have to shock people in order to get people's attention. We paid this guy at Walmart. We're like, we just need your absolute craziest reaction. We need you to scream at these little two kids like they just like stole your kid. And that would be the best thing in the world. So I got my saxophone from band camp, played the same tune behind this guy.
All your years of band camp have prepared you for this moment.
Finally, like something comes in clutch there. And then boom, we played that. He screamed at us. We posted it the next day. My parents were pissed beyond reason because it made their family and like everybody else like hated because quote unquote we were fat shaming. It was fake. We just wanted to shock the nation, and it worked.
What happened?
That night we posted, and our biggest Vine ever to this point had like 30 likes. At that same night it had 100, and then the next morning it had 200. The next morning after that it had 4,000. The next morning after that, it had 10,000. And by 1 week's time, that one video had 20 million views.
20 million views.
20 million views, and 19.9 million of those views were haters. But that was okay with us because we went from 1,000 followers to 20,000 followers in a week.
A week?
In 1 week.
That's like, I feel like these meteoric rises. What was your reaction to that much traction?
As soon as we posted that Vine, which is called Following Fat People, we started posting every single day because we were like, this is our break. Like you can't get, a break in the world and then pass it up. So we started posting every single day, and like the video started doing a lot better. Like we get like 1,000 likes per video now. About 1 month after that time, we're like, okay, I think we're ready. It's time for another one. And so we did Following Fat People Part 2. Same premise. We paid this guy off to yell at us. We knew it was going to be horrible. We knew our parents hated us. Colby's grandma said, like, I'm not talking to you anymore. Like, people...
Grandma disowned him?
Yeah, grandma disowned him. Like, literally, people hated us in the town for this. But that video did 3 times as well and had like 60 million views in a week. We gained up to like 50,000 followers. At that point, we're like, okay, out of our 50,000 followers, probably 45,000 of these guys think we're horrible people. We need to do something about it. Because the reason why we started this whole thing was to teach people about confidence and how to like live their life. We were only using these like controversial videos to gain a platform, and then we wanted to change.
How did you feel about straying from that initial mission?
Yeah, I mean, I think we did it a little harsher than a lot of people, but I think there is some sort of like a necessary evil when you want to do big things. Yes, I think it's very respectable to do the stuff that you love, and I think at the end of the day, you need to do the stuff that you love. But in our minds, we were like, we have 2 years left until we go to college. My parents are going to force us to go to college and never pursue something really amazing unless we go quick. So either shock the nation, change, or try to grind and maybe not make it. And not making it wasn't an option for us.
Right. So you're just like, we need to do the most effective method. And like you guys were super effective.
It was shocking how effective it was, but it was also sad to see, all of our friends and family being like, oh, you guys are bad people. And we're like, no, you don't know. You don't know. Well, the past like 3 years, we've been planning all this. Like we've been like
all part of the master plan.
This is like, we're trying to do good for the world. Trust me.
Yeah, just wait.
But like, just wait.
Although their families didn't support the content that they were making, Sam and Colby continued to create videos and amass followers.
So because of those 2 videos and the traction and the fact that we were posting every single day, no matter what, we were gaining about like 500 to 1,000 a day.
Wow.
We had momentum, and momentum is everything in the game. If you have followers behind you and if you have the motivation behind you, like that's what you need to run with. About at 100,000 followers, which is when we wanted to start not doing public disturbance videos and start doing more user-friendly, world-friendly videos, things that wouldn't make the world hate us. We got a first brand deal, and we got $75 for that.
$75. By the way, a brand deal is a partnership between creators and brands where the creator will create content like a YouTube video or Vine that features a brand's products or services in some way, and it's usually paid for by the brand.
A lot of people are like, wait, so why is that worth it to you? You worked for, a year and you got $75. I could make that in one shift at like a waiter job. It's like, well, you don't understand. Like we weren't looking for the short term. We were looking for the long term. We still had a year left. So like, let's do this.
Sam and Colby were solely focused on making their social media careers a success. But success meant a lot of work and focus. Because of all this work, Sam and Colby made a departure from the friends that they were when they were doing public shenanigans at the mall. Their relationship became strictly business.
So the only video content we did was duo stuff. And so every single day we had to post, meaning every single day we had to agree on an idea. And if he didn't think it was funny, we had to scrap it. If I didn't think his idea was funny, we had to scrap it. And it was bad because we were also getting ready for college. In school, I was doing sports. We had zero social life. And from the moment we got home from school to basically the moment we got to bed, we were working on social media. It was hard because imagine you have this whole life, you're Vine famous in your high school, everyone's like trying to hit you up, but we don't have a single social life. We don't hang out with friends. Like the only people we see every single day is us, and the only other person you work with is your best friend. Is really, really straining on a friendship. And so there was points that we didn't think we were going to be able to do it. There was a lot of times when we were like yelling at each other at like 7:00 at night because we hadn't posted a video that day and we couldn't agree on an idea. How are we going to make it if we can't even agree on a 6-second video app, And it was just really hard because we had to count on each other for literally everything. And once you involve business in a best friendship, it's just very, very difficult to keep both very healthy.
I mean, I imagine your relationship had to change to become more sustainable. So as you were growing and as you were building your following, how did your relationship with Colby change?
Because when we were doing all the confidence training and going to like the mall and stuff like that, because that was all for fun and that was whenever we wanted to do it, we were perfectly fine together. But when there was a goal and like a need, a necessity involved with the social media and posting every single day, it was taxing. It was like, if you don't want to do it, it's not because it's not for fun anymore. If you don't want to do it, you're actually hurting your friend, his possibilities for fame and stuff like that. So it was like, I was counting on him, not in a friend way. It was like, if he doesn't do it, then I'm going to go to college and I'm not going to live the life that I want to do, vice versa. So it was so much more pressure for both of us.
So much pressure.
So much pressure.
Because that's like your dream.
Exactly.
And it's not just a friendship anyway. That's like your chance.
Exactly. It's like you're counting on everything about your life has to do with and is dependent on your friend's life. So it was hard. There's times when we weren't really friends. Like we would come home, figure out an idea, film it, leave, and like we wouldn't talk for the rest of the day. And like the next day, like we wouldn't talk to each other because there'd be weeks that we would not really be friends because the only time we like saw each other was work, and so we didn't want to see each other when we weren't working. So it was hard. That's
so tough. That's so tough.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't think about that, like, cause all you're showing is like that 6 seconds of like joy or funniness, and
that's a big thing with social media too. Is why I think there's a lot of stigma on mental health with social media is because you can't show true emotion. Like in order to be successful, you have to be this like God. You have to be this like perfect human or whatever, happiness to like have this escape, because people watch videos as an escape of their own life. They want to see enjoyment, entertainment. You can't be sad for 3 weeks and have people still watch you. So if you are sad for 3 weeks, you have to put on a fake front, be happy for the video and post that. There was probably, 50 vines that we had of our days that like at those times we hated each other, but you would never know because we had to do it for the principle. We had to do it for the daily posting. It's sad, but it's a grind, and a lot of people don't understand that. So Sam and Colby continued to grind, continued to put out video after video, and then something came up that would unite the friends once again. Those hardships only happened because it was that small of a window of chance. Because
yeah, the pressure was like really on. You were about to graduate,
and we were hardly making any money off of this. Like, again, our brand deals were like $100. Like 6 months before we graduated, I went out to Los Angeles to look at it because I was like, this is the place to be for social media. Like, if we were to make it, here we go. Me and my family had a great vacation here, and when I got home, they told me, hey, Sam and Colby, if you guys can muster up $20,000, which is equivalent to about 3 months of rent out here, you can move out here and you can take a gap year to high school. I got home, had a 5-hour long conversation with Colby and said, hey, we have 6 months to make 20 grand. And if we can't do that, we end up having a 9-to-5 job for the rest of our life. Like, we did not really know exactly what we needed to do. And that's kind of why we always fight. But now that we had this goal, we're like, hey, if we can do this, we will actually move to Los Angeles and we have a chance. So let's go. So we worked super, super hard, grinded, had zero social life, did not talk to any friends. I quit all of my external activities. He did the same. Like, our families didn't see us on the weekends. We sat there in his room. We got this giant chalkboard, wrote out every single thing we needed to do, every brand we wanted to email, and like, we were in desperate times.
And after months of hard work, putting out video after video and emailing brand after brand.
Long story short, we didn't hit the 20K. I mean, we didn't know much. Like, we weren't in business school. We were just seniors in high school. And we were like, hey, here's some brands that we've seen other Viners work with. We can only live stream and try to like ask for donations so much. At this point, I think we are at like 300, 400,000 followers on Vine. But like, at that point, you can't make big bucks on stuff like that. Like, our biggest brand deal at that point was like $500. That would mean you had to do 40 brand deals in a matter of 6 months. Like, that doesn't happen. So we were like freaking out. We got to around $12,000 out of the 6 months, so about $2,000 per month, which was really good for us. And then I decided to sell my car, and we got an extra $4,000 out of that. So we went to Los Angeles with about $16,000 in our bank account, and my parents said, okay, 16, it's close enough. We can see you're working super hard. Take a gap year. And we decided, let's go.
With $16,000 in their pockets, Sam and Colby ventured out to the city of dreams, where musicians, actors, and now Viners go to become stars.
So, I mean, you didn't make the goal, but you kind of made the goal anyway. Like, the goal was to move to Los Angeles, and you made it.
Yeah, the goal was to move to Los Angeles, and we were going to cut it close. We weren't definitely coming with much of a cushion, but we were like, let's go. No, definitely. When we first moved to Los Angeles, the first whole summer that we moved, so this was 3 days after my graduation, we drove out to Los Angeles without any plan. Like, we didn't even have an apartment out there. We just drove out there and tried to figure it out. We did not eat out ever. When we were getting groceries, they were asked, yo, it's 10 cents for a shopping bag. Do you want it? No. We would carry our food to our refrigerator because we didn't want to spend the extra 10 cents.
That is frugality right there.
That is how frugal we were. Our friends would tell us, yo, you guys all want to go out to eat? And we're like, sure, yeah. We'd eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich before we go. And we'd sit there. And like my buddy who ends up filming with us a lot now always talks about this. But one day, like, he saw us and was like, guys, do you need me to buy you a pizza, bro? It's like $10. Like, I can get you a pizza. And we're like, no, it's fine. We got some food at home. So, like, that's how insane we were. And that's how hard we worked. We always did that. And that's something that I pride me and my friend Colby on a lot, is when we want something, we will literally do anything to make it happen.
What was like motivating you? Why were you so determined to do this? Why was this so much better than having a 9-to-5?
We grew up in Kansas in this insanely normal lifestyle, this insanely like cookie cutter lifestyle where we're like, do we want to live this like regimented life like forever? Like, you go to school, you do your homework, you go to college, you get a job, and you have these loans and student debt until you're dead. You know, it's like, that's obviously putting it in the worst way possible. But in our minds, that's how it was going to work out. And so we're like, either we try this and like we have a chance, a sliver of hope for this crazy lifestyle, or we just do exactly what everyone else is doing. And that's not what we wanted. Like, again, to this day, we still think there is so much meaning in life and so much opportunity that people just like never really try for. That we're like, let's be those people to set the example, to help everyone possible, everyone that's like involved with us, to like go out and like live their life. We saw that all of our Kansas friends were doing exactly what they were supposed to, exactly what they were told. And we're like, that's gotta suck, you know? Like, maybe it doesn't, maybe that makes them happy, but at the same time, we're out here going like, why wouldn't you want to do exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life? Like, if what I wanted to do is inspire people and just make stupid videos for the rest of my life with my best friend, like, let's grind, let's make it happen, and let's not take no for an answer. And so we didn't.
Sam and Colby went full speed ahead and started to not just adjust to life in LA, but legitimately thrive in the City of Angels. They were growing incredibly quickly.
We moved out with about 600,000 followers on Vine, but within about 2 months' time, because of all the collaborations we did over the summer, we had been well over 1 million.
Wow.
And so it was just rapid pace. And like I said, back in the day,
That's so quick.
like collaborations did a lot.
Yeah.
So what I was saying is like when our friends would introduce us to other friends and like all these people just collaborated, it went super fast. And again, I think a lot of that has to do with Vine itself, the platform, because in 6 seconds you really don't know a person. So you're not really diehard fans of one person because of their personality on Vine, because you only see 6 seconds of them. So even if you've watched all 200 videos, you've only really seen 30 minutes of their life. You're not like infatuated with one person. So if the one person that you really like, you know, shows another person for 6 seconds, that's a lot in Vine.
Yeah, exactly.
Vine said. And we ended up going on tour.
Wait, you went on tour?
We went on like a tour with like a bunch of other Viners. And so like we got a little bit of payment for that.
How did you go on tour?
Exactly. Well, with 1 million followers, a lot of these small tours pop up. Like, it wasn't like a big thing. I think we got paid like $500 per month. I think we did it for 2 months. But mostly it was brand deals at that point. We were still live streaming a lot and like did about 2 brand deals a month, which were like $1,000 each. So I think our rent was $2,000 and our like gross income was like $3,000. So it was like we were scraping.
Yeah,
by.
yeah.
It wasn't like amazing.
Sam and Colby didn't want to scrape by forever. So with their growing following, they went to VidCon to do some networking, and they ended up meeting the people that inspired this whole confidence and self-improvement journey in the first place.
At VidCon of that year, we met these guys named Kong and Jesse, and they were actually from the channel I talked about a long time ago from Simple Pickup. And so that's where a lot of things came full circle. And we told them like 3 years ago, I think at that point, we watched you guys teach us how to be confident. We went to the mall for 2 years, basically doing what you preached. And now we're in Los Angeles, like on social media, not living a 9 to 5. Like, what's up? How's it going? Like, thank you. And surprisingly enough, they were incredibly welcoming and like, that's amazing. Can you like tell us more about your story? Like, we want to help you out. Like, they asked us what we wanted to do. And we said, every once in a while we make an inspirational video, or we're out here to try to like get big. And once we like get big enough and we think we can sustain an audience on our own personal content, we want to like teach people about life, teach people about the confidence that you taught other people, and teach people that it doesn't always have to be that cookie cutter way. You don't have to be 9 to 5. You can like literally just do whatever you want to do if you just try hard enough, et cetera, et cetera. We gave them the whole spiel of what we've learned over the past couple of years, and they're like, yo, we'll help you if you want to do that. I'm like, no, what? There's no way.
Yeah, you're like idols that you literally started this whole venture as like yes,
I was like,
let's
wait,
help you out.
What are you talking about? Like the people that taught us everything 3 years prior are about to help us out pursuing our dream of like teaching other people.
That you started out to pursue
by the people that inspired the vision. It was such a mind fuck. And I was like, how is this happening? Yeah. So when we talked to them at VidCon, we're like, yo, we want to create like a YouTube channel and like, oh, we want to put out all of our ideas out on video. And so all of our followers can like learn the same things we learned, the way that we learned it. And it wouldn't be necessarily about having confidence to pick up girls. It would be more just like how to be confident in a day-to-day life and just like get the things you wanted to do. And they're like, yo, like you guys shouldn't do that. You're like, what? They're like, do it so much better. If you're struggling with money and you want to do this full time and you want to like create this as a career, you can't give away everything that you wanted in your entire life just for free, or else you're not going to make any money. And we're like, yeah, I guess that's true.
I guess that makes sense.
Do both. So give people enough that like teaches them about like who you are. Let's say you want to talk about confidence, give them, 10 to 20% on your main channel. The 10 to 20% of people that see that stuff and really want to can go learn about other stuff. And you can put, a $5 charge on it, and you can finally pay your rent. You can finally come and eat out with us at a sushi place. And we're like, oh, that would be so much better.
That'd be amazing.
If I could afford my car payment, that would be fantastic, finally.
That conversation was a game changer for Sam and Colby. They had an opportunity to actually make some real money, and they weren't about to pass that up.
From that VidCon conversation, they basically said, hey, we'll do a partnership, and we'll help you guys with the platform. You guys make the content. So over the next 3 or 4 months, we made a ton of videos, probably like 50 or 60 videos, all about all these.
50 or 60 videos?
Yeah. So
that's an insane amount.
It is. We've always been like grinders. Like, we always like obvious. Go super, super hard. So at this point, I think we were waking up at 8 a.m. and we didn't finish filming until midnight or 1 o'clock, like every day, all the time. Like we did not care. Like we didn't have
like just loved it.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. We really, really, really wanted it. And at this point, again, we were only like making about $500 extra from our rent that we could possibly afford. So we were still scraping by. It was like not necessarily the best living situations. So we worked super hard. Yeah, we made a lot of videos and a lot of content going back and forth while still posting every day on Vine, while still posting like 3 times a week on Facebook and Instagram and all this stuff. So it was a lot. They took all of our content, showed us how to portray it in like a really nice professional manner and say like, this is how people will receive it well. They helped us market it. And over the course of a couple of months, they worked with us. We told them what our fan base wants. And they said, okay, this is how you talk to them. This is how you make them feel like special. Like you want to talk to them, right? Because like you want to make them feel special, obviously, because like that's like your goal, and they want to feel special. So you can't say this, say this. You can say this, so do it this way. And they basically are holding our hands through marketing because we're,
mentoring you.
Yeah, hardcore mentoring us, and we are 18 years old. So it's like, okay, awesome, thank you. We need this. We literally need this. We have not been to business school yet. It's all good. So yeah, it worked out pretty well. The reception was okay, but enough to make us more money than we've ever seen in our entire lives. We were marketing out to like 1 million people, quote unquote, for Vine followers. Like obviously not every single person sees your Vines, but let's say we had 1 million followers on Vine and we promoted it out to them. About 1,000 people signed up, but our charge was like, $15 a month. And so we got $15,000 for the first time ever. We were making
$15,000 a month at 18.
At 18, and we had only ever seen $3,000 a month ever. So we basically just crapped our pants right then and there and said, oh my God, these guys are geniuses. Like I cannot believe like they helped us do all that.
Yeah. Kong and Jesse had propelled Sam and Colby to the upper echelon of the creator community. All their hard work, all their efforts had been legitimized.
You made it. That seems like validation that all of your hard work had been worth it.
3 months after we released the Life Project, we were finally like making money. Colby and I sat there in our hot tub across from each other and said, wow, 3 or 4 years ago, we had no idea what we wanted to do with our lives. But all we knew is we didn't want to work a 9 to 5 and we didn't want to be normal. Over the course of just grinding and actually doing stuff, we finally found a way to sustain ourselves outside of the norm. At that point, at 18 years of age, we were talking about, wow, if we play our cards right for the rest of the year, me and you can split $15,000 a month between both of us. And that's a pretty good living.
That's a really good living.
That's like what a lot of people like strive to do. And we did that by creating our own path and like paving our own way. We did it ourselves, and we didn't have to like answer to the colleges. We didn't have to answer to our parents. We actually just went out and did it.
As social media and the online space changed, so did Sam and Colby. they started to move towards the content that they always wanted to create and got closer and closer to the mission that they started out to pursue.
So since then, how have you developed the business? What is the business now?
The business has changed a lot. So obviously Vine died. Rest in peace. That's very sad. Our main thing nowadays is not Vine. We switched over to YouTube, and obviously 6-second Vine videos, you can't really be genuine. And then when we did challenge videos, when we first started YouTube, we were just like, we didn't really care about the challenges. All we cared about is like making a video for that week just to be relevant enough on YouTube. And then a long time ago, my buddy from TFIL, there's a group of guys that invited us out to do a YouTube video, and we watched how they filmed. And they didn't film with the intent of making a video. They filmed with the intent of doing what they love and having fun. Colby and I had a long conversation after that and said, dude, if we don't like a YouTube video, let's not post it. Let's do only the videos that we really want to do. Let's only post pictures that we actually want to post. Let's only tweet things that we like think are funny to us, not give a crap about anybody else's think. Remember when we were back in the mall? We wouldn't do anything if we wanted to appease other people. Yeah. We only did things because we thought they were funny.
It's like coming full circle. Like you're going back to the roots
exactly.
of why everything started.
If you're ever in trouble, just go back to your roots. We started doing everything on social media just for the sake of us having fun. And everything skyrocketed from there. People could tell we were genuinely friends again. And at that point, that was a big shift in Colby and I's friendship to not being necessarily business partners all the time and starting to become like really good friends again. And people could tell that because like when we were filming, we would be laughing and doing stupid stuff and not even like caring really if we got the correct shot. And even though it wasn't as beautiful of a video, it was so much better of an experience for like the viewer, and they really thought we were part of a friend group. And that's again when we got a bunch of other friends with all of our YouTube videos, and we started all collaborating as a group again. And people really loved that. They could tell it wasn't a business. They weren't doing this for the money. They were actually doing it to have fun. This is like what they truly believed in and loved. And so we did that. That helped all of our social media numbers, which helps all of like the brand deals and like the AdSense and everything like that. And then we finally started coming out with brands, like our clothing brands. You mentioned that this podcast is about people that break the norm, because my clothing brand is called Never Normal. It's like back in the day, I started never wanting to be normal, and now I will never be normal. Colby's brand is Take Chances. Our main brand that encompasses like all of our social media stuff is Explore. We just want people to get off the couch and like actually go and explore the world.
And explore they did. Sam and Colby traveled everywhere, to every nook and cranny, and created content around their adventures wherever they went.
We explored abandoned places all throughout the world for like a year and a half, and sadly we can't explore abandoned places anymore because we recently got arrested.
Ah, okay.
That was bad. That changed a lot to do with our content, which is a really, really good thing.
As you said, you know, your brands are about exploring, about like defying normal, taking chances. So tell me about how you got into this most recent content.
We lived in Kansas. There's really nothing to do basically anywhere in Kansas except the mall. So all we did besides the mall was we would go explore abandoned places. So when we first had this revelation of, hey, let's do things that we genuinely enjoy, we're like, well, back in the day, what did we do? Go to the mall? Okay. I don't know if that'll be a great video, but we also explored abandoned places. Okay, let's do that. We started doing that, and that took off. Like, people could tell that we were genuinely interested in this. We actually really enjoyed doing it, even though it was like edgy, and not many other YouTubers did that at the time. I think we were the most viewed abandoned explorers for like a year and a half because no one had the balls to do what we did. And so we did that for a really long time.
So at this point, you were like going to abandoned places all over the world.
All over the world.
Like, what were some of the places you went?
Everywhere in the United States, New Zealand, in Australia. We did stuff in Japan and Egypt and Amsterdam and Dubai.
That is so cool. That is so cool. So you were traveling the world, just exploring places, and you were making money from it.
Yeah, which is the dream. It's like
that's 100% the dream.
Yeah, especially because we did that before we even thought about money. It's like that was the stuff that we enjoyed doing, exploring abandoned places, when we were kids. Like when we didn't care about what we wanted to do with our lives, and now we were making a career out of it.
It all goes back to those roots.
Everything goes back to the roots. Long story short, traveled the world, did all this stuff. We're getting pretty cocky about it. And then just this last January in 2019, we were in Florida. We got off the plane, hopped into this hospital, and like got to the top, and we're like looking across like Miami, and it was really beautiful. And we're just like, wait a second, we're right by the airport. Like, this is not good. And so we jumped down. We're like, oh God, we got to get out. And this girl in like a yellow vest comes like walking at us, and we're like, oh God. So we run the other way. We run across this complex, and we like escape through like the complex's parking lot. Right as soon as we got off the premises, these 3 guys with guns start like running at us and like holding us up and says like, don't move, hands up. And we're like, oh God, like this is horrifying. We're like, we have no idea what we did. Like, because we've been caught by a bunch of cops and police and like security all the time, but never with a gun. And we're like, what is going on? And they like jump up towards us, get 3 other cops come in, they throw us against the fence, throw us down on the ground, take off all of our equipment and bags and stuff, throw it away, and they're like screaming at us. And we're like, what is going on? And they're like, do you know where you are? And we're like, yeah, we're at an abandoned hospital. He's like, no, do you know where you are? We're like, we were in the abandoned hospital. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. And it turns out the complex that we were running across was a Jewish preschool. And if you think about it from their perspective, 2 kids all dressed in black with backpacks, cameras, face masks just ran across a preschool with no explanation. So they thought we were bombing them. And they said like we could have been shot on sight. We talked our way out of it because we said we were from Los Angeles, and like we said like we'd never come back there ever again. And then we told them what we did in our YouTube channel, and they realized that we were at the hospital, not trying to go towards this Jewish preschool. Yeah. And we're like, okay, cool. This is pretty crazy. Like we've never been held up at gunpoint. Yeah. Like that's the first time I've literally seen my life flash before my eyes. And later that day, we hit another abandoned place. 2 days after that, we hopped into an abandoned school, and someone else saw us going there, and they called the cops, and they showed up with dogs, and they basically ran us out of the abandoned school, and they arrested us there. We both spent a night in jail. Colby spent like a night and the next day in jail. Since I was able to pay my bail, is I just sat in this room with like 30 other guys in orange jumpsuits staring at a clock on a wall for 12 hours. But I didn't even get the worst of it. Like Colby got brought to the back because anybody staying over 24 hours gets brought to the back. So he actually had to sit on a concrete bed with a cellmate and like talk to a bunch of big gang members. His was much worse. I think both of us think that was a good experience to humble ourselves, because as soon as we walked out of those doors, we're like, oh my God, the grass is green. Like there's color in the life. Like,
free at last.
Like a lot of people have it much worse, obviously, than just one night. But just like experiencing the one night of being like, wow, we have so much freedom in our life, especially not even working a regular 9 to 5, that like, why would we give that up from doing just illegal stuff?
Yeah.
So because of all that, that was why we changed our content.
And so what are you now changing that to?
All of our content prior had been just exploring abandoned places, and the exciting part of that was because of the intensity and the like security chases and stuff like that. The biggest videos that we always posted were those that like at night, because it was spooky and adrenaline filled. So we were like, okay, what's one thing that we could do to go along the same lines, but also keep it all legal? And we're like, okay, well, our coolest videos have always been the spooky stuff. So let's just go to haunted legal places. So let's start with like haunted hotels, and then do like haunted forests and haunted national parks. And so we just decided to start exploring the paranormal instead of exploring the abandoned. We still get to travel a lot for it. So it's great. And it's basically the same thing, just legal.
Yeah,
and more
you have
ghosty.
A less chance of a gun being put in your face.
Yeah, just more of a chance of getting possessed. It's fine.
Sam and Colby are really excited for the future, and I can see why. Every year they seem to be having more exciting adventures, doing bigger projects, and creating better content. And they aren't about to stop.
What are you most excited about for the future? Where are you guys growing towards?
2019 has been insane. Every year it gets crazier and crazier, and we learn more about business. But just before 2019, we signed on with an agency, CAA, and a management, Scale Management. And we have been able to delegate so much of our like busy work off to other people, and they are so connected in like the Los Angeles area, like the media industry, that we have so many more opportunities happening. And even like going down to like editing videos, we have like now editors, stuff like that. So we can focus so much more about creating content, creating projects, to where the sky's the limit. We just shot a Snapchat show, which was insane. We just are signing on to get a haunted book based off of an experience that we had in Hawaii just like 2 weeks ago. We have 3 merch lines, and we're looking at a merch tour. We want to go on either like a book tour or another tour, because we just did a Sam and Colby Explore tour about all of our abandoned stuff and like selling the merch there like last summer. We changed all of our content on YouTube to go from like a weekly posting schedule. Again, going back to the roots, we always asked ourselves, what are we genuinely interested in versus what are we forced to do? At a point, we realized that a weekly posting schedule is what we're supposed to do, but it's not really what we wanted to do, because one, it didn't allow us to work on our content as much as we wanted to, and 2, it just forced us to make quantity over quality all the time. We went down and we started making these series content. So we're basically making like a TV series every like 6 weeks, as opposed to one video every week. On those, we do edit and we film everything. We spend like 2 to 3 days filming, and then like 2 to 3 weeks editing like these like movie quality, at least like we think so, like type of videos for like our fans to enjoy. And they ended up being like, if we collectively put all the series together, they're about 2 hour long like movies. Those big projects like really like are received well with the fans, and I think serious content right now, especially in 2019, is like a big thing. That's what we're really excited right now.
That's a lot of projects going on at the same time.
Yeah, no, it's a
just
lot.
So much opportunity.
Yeah, definitely so many opportunities, and the fact that we're able to like finally get out to like a whole team. As opposed to just working Colby and I, we're able to pursue so many more things, because it's like now there's like a group of 25 people working towards the same goal, as opposed
25
to
people you have, like working with you on this.
Yeah, on all the different projects.
That's
it's like
insane. You guys have a huge team.
Oh, it's crazy. The last 3 years, I think every year we've tripled our income, and our business manager this year says we're about to triple our income again this year, just with all these different projects. So it's going to be a nice pretty penny. But
oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's some crazy growth.
It is crazy growth, which I'm super excited about, because we're not going to be able to do YouTube at the same caliber for the rest of our lives, but we'll like be able to sustain a lot from this growth, which is amazing. I forgot to mention the best part is this year we are revamping everything that Life Project once was, making it into like 10 times as good as it used to be. We're recalling the Life Project Meta Life, and we're going to have a bunch of different platforms for both like kids. We're going to have like parents. We're also going to try to put that into school districts to actually like help people understand everything that school doesn't teach you. That's going to be probably the biggest thing released this year. That's like the main focus, and has been for about this last 6 months.
Sam has some advice for budding creators and entrepreneurs that he's learned from his time as a creator.
So the last question to close out, and you are giving like so much advice and so much education to such a large group of people. What advice would you give to the person that is in a 9-to-5 job right now that they might not really like, and they're thinking about pursuing the thing that they've always wanted to do? What advice would you give to that person?
If it's in the back of your mind, probably want to do it, so why don't you just do it? A lot of people will think on that same thing for years and years and years, and they'll never act on it, but you want to do it. If you're thinking about, this is my dream job, and obviously what I'm doing is not right for me, you got to try it. You only live once. But with that being said, don't quit your 9-to-5 right now and just go full force into something that you know you're not going to make any money towards. And don't expect to do it for the money right off the bat, because you need to be good at your craft before you make money at it. Like for us, we didn't start making money to where we were like, okay, we're good, and like this is something we can do for the rest of our lives, until like 5 or 6 years after we started. I'm not saying that to discourage anybody. I'm just saying that to be like a realist. If you're a waiter, you still have probably 6 hours a day where you could do something else. A lot of people think that you have no time. You have time. You just don't know how to prioritize it. For us, our job was school. So we had school, we had social life, we had our business. We just decided, screw our entire social life, create the business. You're not going to have time for everything. Just pick what you want to do and actually do it. If you work in a 9-to-5 job, you still have from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. every single night that you can pursue another craft. A lot of people want, but they don't try. A lot of people think you can't do both. You can do both. And it will pay off in the long run.
That was Sam Golbach. Looking back at his legacy, I think the message that Sam is trying to convey, as weird as it sounds, is that he isn't special. The whole message of the Sam and Colby channel, of their courses, is that anyone can do this. They started out as two shy kids in the middle of the country with no hope or way of achieving stardom. Yet, through the use of a few key concepts, they improved their confidence, created their own content, and persevered in the face of all obstacles. I think what Sam is trying to say is anyone can achieve greatness. All you need to do is keep going. If you like this podcast, give us a follow or subscribe. See you guys soon.